I saw this fella's what do you call it today? Oh, except I'm not supposed to say what do you call it. Verity says varlet. What do you call it is banned. When we cannot find the word we want, we describe. We do not say what do you call it. Well, you won't catch me describing that. Besides, what do you call it is what I call it. Somebody's what do you call it. Anyway, I saw it. I didn't think anything about it, only somebody must have gone and alerted the office, because next thing you know, bouncing Betty pokes in. She says, Violet, I have to ask you this. Was the penis erect? I said, Nurse Babty, that's not a word I would use. She said, erect? I said, no, the other. She said, well, Violet, you've had what we call a stroke. You're sometimes funny with words. I said, I'm not funny with that word. She said, things have changed now, Violet. Penis is its name. All the other names are just trying to make it more acceptable. Language is a weapon, Violet. We're at war. I said, who with? She said, men. He was a smartish fella. Can't have been more than 70, and a lovely blue suit. He could have been a bank manager, except he had no socks on. I said, you can put that away. He said, I've got a big detached house in Harrogate. I said, that's no excuse. He said, it's got 5 bathrooms. They've inaugurated this, what do you call it, this chairlift thing. I think he must have come up from downstairs. There's been 1 or 2 of them trying to migrate. They get bored. And do you wonder? Anyway, when he saw it wasn't cutting much ice with me, he takes it over to Hilda. Only she's busy braying on a tray with a spoon, so it doesn't make much of an impact there either. Mary's asleep, and when he wakes her up and says, look at this, she says, is it dinner time? And goes back to sleep again. In the finish, he comes back to me and he says, I've forgotten. Did I show you this? At which point, Reenie rushes in, sees his lordship with his trousers down and says, are you my taxi? I'm all ready. I said to Francis, and they call it a rest home. They haven't given it up. We were throwing this ball about, a big felty thing. I could never catch a ball when I was a little girl, so I know I can't do it now. Anyway, Nurse Babty comes in and wheels me to the window and says, Violet, having seen this penis, would you like some counselling? I said, Nurse, I'm nearly 95. She said, yes, Violet, but you're a victim, and choose how old you are, you're still flying the flag of gender. I said, well, I think a cup of tea would do the trick, Nurse Bambi, thank you. I call them all nurse. And she is a nurse, only a lot of them aren't. They're just young lasses. Francis is a proper nurse, though. He's got letters after his name. And you can tell, because he has me out of my clothes in no time. I said, somebody tried to undress me once, only it wasn't a patch on you. Are you sharp as this with your girlfriend? He said, you're my girlfriend. Oh, he has some grand arms. I can't reckon up names. New lass on this afternoon. Bonny little thing. Helping Francis put me to bed for me to lie down. I said, what's your name, love? She said, Devon. I said, that's never a name. It's a place. She said, yes, a very beautiful place. My mum and dad used to go on holiday there. I said, well, it's a good job they didn't go to Skegness. Oh, she looks right mad. Only Frances laughs, so she laughs and all. I think she's got her eye on him. I drop off, and when I wake up, there's a fella by my bed. He goes, "Hello." I said, "Hello," and shut my eyes again. They send these folks round to test you. When I open them again, he's still there. "Hello," he goes. The fattish fella, 60-odd, gingery tash. He said, "It's Donald, Mother. I'm your son." Well, it didn't look like a son. It looked more like a father. Big wristwatch, attaché case. One of those green raincoaty things they shoot in. Anyway, I take the notice, and he starts on the hello game again. "Hello. Hello." Made me feel like a budgie. I said, "Bugger off." A light-coloured lady, Mrs. Shah comes in, starts squeegeeing around. He says, "It's tragic, isn't it? She's never had a day's illness in her life. I think it's a disease of civilization. Does it happen in your country?" She says, "I'm from Huddersfield." Then Renee comes in, ready for off as usual. She says, "Are you my taxi? I've been waiting all morning." "Oh, I've just remembered," he says. "I'm wanted in Wakefield." Shoves his tash in my face and he's off. Mrs. Shah says, "Was that your son?" I said, "He thinks so." She says, "My son's got in to do engineering. He's 6'2". I lay there, working it out. See, if I had a son, I must have had a husband. So when Francis was wiping my bottom later on, I said, "Did I get married?" And he said, "Yes. Can't you remember?" I said, "I remember one young man, but I don't think I took the plunge." "Are you married?" He said, "You get star treatment here, Violet. Even the Queen doesn't get her bottom wiped." What's her name came round today. Her that helps me with talking. Name of a cricket bat. Else a gas oven. Oh, Verity. She's a nice looking lass, but makes note of herself. A big jumper thing. I said, "I bet you've got a right nice..." She goes, "Describe, Violet, describe." I said, "A right nice..." Them two things with pink ends that men like. Bust. By, she didn't half look knocked. She said, "Things are different now, Violet. Women have control of their own bodies." I said, "Is that why I can't get them to take me to the toilet?" Then we start doing these exercises, naming folk. I'm quite good at that. Renee, Mary, Hilda. And then I get stuck. She says, "Describe, Violet. Say the lady in the yellow frock." I said, "The black lady." She said, "No, Violet, it's better to say the lady in the yellow frock." I said to Francis, "It's a complicated business talking." I never used to give it a thought. He said, "What?" She wasn't listening. It was miles away. Really quiet. It's not like him. He's generally so full of you get in tins. Beans. Oh, he's a lovely looking lad. Rena gallops her food. She was sick today, all down Frances's front. I said, "You gallop your food, you." She said, "Well, I have to. I've got a taxi coming." I said, "Rena, where's this taxi taking you?" She said, "Armley." I said, "Armley where?" She said, "My mum and dad's in 1947. I said, "Well, if he can take you there, I bet he does a spanking trade." Anyway, she fetches her dinner back all down Francis. So he says, "You'll have to excuse me, ladies." And he takes his tunicky thing right off. And by, he's a grand-looking lad. Not a mark on him. And right big here. It made you want to do that, whatever it's called. Ooh, lovely. Devon came in. I saw her having a look. When he's finished cleaning up, he says, "Well, Violet, you've seen something today." I said, "I've seen it before." It just had a little bit of, a bit of this, starting here. You know, like they do at that age. I said, "Don't get yourself." He said, "What?" I said, "Well, like when you don't come home back, khaki and poppies." He said, "Nay, that's all done with now. They don't die like that." And he looked right, what's it called? I saw my legs today. I didn't own them. They didn't look like my legs at all. That Devon was giving me a bath. I said, "Them's never my legs." She said, "Whose legs do you think they are?" I said, "Well, you never know in this place. I've had somebody else's teeth before now. And this frock isn't mine. Tangerine doesn't suit me. Where's that green little frock?" She said, "Hilda kept wetting herself in it and it's gone funny." You see, Francis wouldn't have put me in this frock, only he wasn't there. She's putting me back on the bed and I said, "Well, I've learned one thing. I'm not Betty Grable." She says, "Who's she?" No wonder your talking goes. Even when you get it right, they think you're balmy. Francis knows all the old film stars. Betty Grable, her that sings, and that one with the cig, and her hair up, bit of a madam. Betty Davis. Anyway, I'm sitting on the bed when they all waltz in with this cake. Turns out it's my birthday. I'm 90-something, I don't know. They did tell me. Candles. Tasted like candles, did the cake. Anyway, I had to reckon to be suited. They kept saying a few years more and I'll be getting the now then. Lad comes on a bike. Folks stood at the door, weeping. Telegram. Her on the horse at the end of the pictures. She sends it to you, apparently. The Queen. No Francis, though. I said to Nurse Babty, where is he? She said, oh, he's gone for a check-up. I said, check-up? For what? She said, oh, they do that now. I hate tangerine. Verity fetches a young lad in this morning. She says to him, you're privileged. Violet is our oldest resident. She says, Spencer's going to ask you 1 or 2 questions for his school project. It's about the past. Poor looking lad. Bonny face. Floppy clothes, shirt tail out. I said, is that your big brother's jumper? He says, no, it's dead smart, is this? Gets out his exercise book and says, what was it like then? I said, well, he said, were things better or worse? I said, well, my legs were better. He said he didn't mean that. Verity comes back and he says, she doesn't seem to know what I'm talking about. Verity says, well, she's had a stroke. Now come on, I'll find you another one. I said to Francis, it means trams and whatnot, strikes, tin baths, the war. Francis says, which war? I said, the proper war, when all the young lads got killed. Never again, that war. He said, hold my hand. Francis said, did you have a young man? I said, yes. He said, what was he like? I said, well, his name was Edward. They had a little confectioner's down Tong Road. He used to fetch my mum a vanilla slice. Every time he came round, a vanilla slice. I still had hold of his hand. I said, when you were courting then, it was a kind of, well, where you fight. He said, struggle. I said, aye. He'd managed to get one button undone one night and another the next. And lasses weren't supposed to do much in them days, just lie back and get ready to draw the line. And because I'd let him get so far one night, he'd know where the front line was. So the next night he'd get there a bit quicker and push on a bit further. Another button, you know. It was that grudging somehow. But it's the way you felt then, and had to be then. Anyway, he was going off to France next day. He was in a camp over at Church Fenton, and they'd given him a pass for his last night. My mum, oh, she was a good one. She'd put some anemones in a vase. I love anemones. And put a fire in the front room. And then she reckoned she had to stay at my Aunt Florence's that night. See, ordinary folks then were better than they're ever given credit for all they were so straight-laced. I gave him his tea, and then we went in and sat in the front room, and he started on, like, undoing my buttons and kissing and whatnot. Only I'd wanted to look nice, so I'd put on my best frock, and he couldn't fathom how it unfastened. I should just have taken it off. But I didn't. And poor Lammy got so fed up with these flaming button things, In the finish he gave up. He'd taken his leggings off, his puttees, because they were hot, and he was in his shirt sleeves. They were right rough khaki shirts then, real cheap and itchy. Anyway, in the finish he gets up off the sofa and says, "Oh, hang this lot." And he takes his shirt off and everything else besides. He doesn't say a word, just takes it all off and stands there on the hearthrug. And he looked at the picture with the fire and all that, not a mark on him. And then he says, "Take your clothes off now." And I didn't. And I wanted him so much. I don't know, it was just the way I'd been brought up. And he stands there looking down at me. And then he picks his clothes up and he goes next door. And after a bit I heard the front door bang. See, they look old in photographs compared with what they look now. Only they weren't. They were lads, same as you. And just as grand. I saw the yellow thing the boy on the bike brings. His sister fetched it round. A telegram. And a vanilla slice for Mum. Then later on they had a letter written to me from the King, same as everybody did who lost somebody. They keep saying I'll be getting a telegram soon for my birthday. Francis says, "Do you know something, Violet? In all that you never said, what do you call it, or what's its name? Not once. You knew all the words." Only I should have let him, shouldn't I? I've never forgiven myself. Well, Francis says, "How can you know?" He was still holding my hand. Poor lad. He looks right washed out. I thought they'd got pneumonia beat. A big strapping lad like Francis. Devon said it was a blessing. He'd have died anyway. I said, "A blessing? A young fellow like that?" And he was such a gentle soul. She was doing my legs, plastering me up with stuff. And right hard hands. Not a patch on Francis. I said, "He'd have made some lass a grand husband." She said, "It wasn't lasses, it was lads." I said, "I knew it was lads." She said, "Well, I wish you'd told me." Oh, she was right nasty. I didn't know it was lads, but I wasn't having her telling me. Lads or lasses, it was a love. Reenie's gone and all. Went in the night. They thought I was asleep, so they didn't bother to put the screens round. I saw it all. Putting the white socks on. And a bit of giggling. right as rain when she came to bed. Made me promise to wake her up if a taxi came. Well, he came in the finish. I said to Francis, no, I didn't. My arm seems to have gone to sleep this morning, and this hand. Now then, I'll have another of these somewhere. I've got sixpence, jolly, jolly sixpence. I've got sixpence. It will last me all my life. I've got twopence to spend, and twopence to lend, and twopence to send home to my wife. You see, if we sang everything, I shouldn't forget. Pets is what you want in this place. Else babies. Something you can do this with. Not have to talk to. It's no game, is this? We're the pets, fed and cleaned out every day. It's a kennel, is this? Pedigree chum. Pedigree chum.